As he drove to the diner Nathan had mentioned, his heart pounded in his chest. When he parked and stepped inside, a wave of nerves washed over him. His palms were sweaty, and butterflies fluttered in his stomach. He scanned the room, searching every face, hoping, praying to see her. But she wasn't there. Disappointment crashed over him like a tidal wave. He approached the counter, his voice tight with emotion. "Excuse me," he said to the waitress behind the counter. "There was a woman who used to work here. Elena Rodriguez. Do you know where she is?" The waitress frowned, shaking her head. "Elena? She left a couple of weeks ago. Didn't say where she was going." Ethan's heart sank. It was as if the universe was playing a cruel joke on him. He thanked the waitress and left the diner, his steps heavy and slow. The afternoon sun dipped low on the horizon as he wandered the streets, lost in thought. The city moved around him, a blur of noise and colors, but he felt numb. He had been so close, and yet, once again, she had slipped through his fingers. Eventually, he found himself back in his car. As he sat behind the wheel, staring blankly ahead, one thought burned in his mind. He wouldn't give up. Not now. Not ever. Elena pushed the stroller through the bustling mall, her mind weighed down by the familiar worries of bills and her mother's health. She was only here to pick up a few essentials, but the bright lights and happy families made her feel even more distant from the life she once dreamed of. As she waited in line at a coffee shop, a voice called out her name. "Elena? Is that really you?" She turned, eyes widening. "Simone? Oh my goodness!" Elena gasped, a smile breaking across her face as she embraced her old high school best friend. "It's been so long. I thought you moved away for college." "I did," Simone said, laughing, "but I'm back now. What about you? How have you been?" Elena hesitated, glancing at her baby boy sleeping soundly in the stroller. "It's a long story. Let's grab a coffee." They found a quiet corner in the cafe, and as the minutes turned into an hour, Elena poured her heart out. She told Simone everything, about leaving Ethan, the struggles of finding work, raising her son, and caring for her sick mother. Simone listened intently, her brows furrowing with empathy. When Elena finished, Simone reached across the table and squeezed her hand. "Elena, I had no idea. But listen, my dad owns a business downtown. He's actually looking for a new receptionist. The pay is 5 times what you're making now, and there's room for growth." Elena blinked in disbelief. "Are you serious? I don't have any experience as a receptionist." "You're organized, hardworking, and great with people. That's all you need. Plus, there's even a daycare for employees. It's free, so you wouldn't have to worry about childcare while you work." Tears welled in Elena's eyes. "Simone, this sounds like a dream." Simone smiled warmly. "It's not a dream. It's a new beginning. And I know my dad would love to meet you." Elena glanced down at her son, her heart swelling with hope. This job could change everything. She could take better care of her mother, give her son a brighter future, and maybe, just maybe, find a piece of herself again. "Thank you," she whispered, gripping Simone's hand. "You have no idea what this means to me." As they finished their coffee, the weight on Elena's chest felt a little lighter. For the first time in a long while, she dared to believe that things might finally be looking up. 3 months later, Elena stood in the living room of her new apartment, the sunlight streaming through the large windows. It was bigger, brighter, and nestled in a nicer neighborhood close to her job, and the hospital where her mother received regular checkups. With Sam now walking, the extra space was a blessing. Her eyes drifted over to the small car parked outside, a gift to herself with Simone's help. It made getting around so much easier. No more lugging groceries on the bus or worrying about being late for doctor's appointments. Life had changed, and for the better. Yet, even with all the improvements, there was still a part of her heart that ached. She never wanted to be a single mother. Every time she looked at Sam, she saw Ethan's eyes staring back at her, and it made the pain sharper. One Sunday afternoon, Sam was unusually fussy. No matter what Elena tried, he wouldn't settle. She rocked him, sang lullabies, and even offered his favorite toy, but nothing worked. Finally, she decided to take him for a drive. The gentle hum of the car usually calmed him down. As they drove through the city, Elena's mind wandered. She thought about her struggles over the past 2 years and how far she'd come. Her mother's health was improving, and Sam was growing into a beautiful, curious little boy. Still, the longing in her heart never faded. She passed a cozy ice cream parlor and decided to stop. It was a luxury she could never afford before, but now she could treat herself and her family. Sam had finally fallen asleep, his tiny head resting against the car seat. Elena carefully placed him in his stroller and pushed him into the shop. The sweet aroma of freshly baked waffle cones filled the air as she ordered a few scoops to take home. As she turned to leave, the door chime rang behind her. She looked up and froze. There, standing in the doorway, was Ethan. Their eyes met, and the world around them seemed to disappear. Ethan's face shifted from disbelief to shock, and then to something deeper: pain, regret, and longing. "Elena?" His voice was barely a whisper. She couldn't breathe. "Ethan." For a moment, neither of them moved. Then Ethan's gaze dropped to the sleeping child in the stroller. His eyes widened, his breath catching in his throat. "Is he mine?" His voice trembled. Elena swallowed hard. "Yes. His name is Sam." Ethan knelt down, his hands shaking as he reached out to gently touch the boy's tiny hand. His fingers brushed against Sam's soft skin, and a tear slipped down his cheek. "Why didn't you tell me?" he asked, standing up to face her. "I searched everywhere for you." "I tried," Elena said, her voice cracking. "I left messages at your office, but no one ever called me back. And when I went to the mansion, Victoria turned me away." Ethan's jaw clenched. "Victoria," he muttered under his breath. "I had no idea. I swear, if I'd known—" He looked at her, eyes filled with pain. "Elena, I would have never stopped looking." She looked down, tears falling silently. "I didn't want to raise him alone, but I had no choice." Ethan stepped closer, gently cupping her cheek in his palm. "You're not alone anymore. I promise." Elena leaned into his touch, closing her eyes as a sob escaped her lips. Ethan pulled her into his arms, holding her tightly. For the first time in a long time, she felt safe. She felt home. That night, they talked for hours. Ethan told her how he never married Victoria, how the wedding invitation was a cruel lie. He poured out his heart, confessing the pain he felt every day without her. Elena shared her struggles and the quiet hope that one day he would find her. Over the next week, Ethan spent every evening at her apartment. He played with Sam, getting to know his son while reconnecting with Elena. Slowly, the walls around her heart began to crumble. Then, one evening, Ethan invited her and her mother to his parents' home. It was time they met their grandson. Ethan's parents welcomed Elena with open arms, tears streaming down their faces as they held Sam. They had no idea they had a grandson and were overjoyed to finally meet him. In front of everyone, Ethan dropped to one knee. Elena gasped, her heart racing. "Elena," Ethan said softly, taking her hand, "I've loved you from the moment I saw you, and not a day has gone by that I haven't regretted losing you. You are my heart, my home, and now we have a family. Will you marry me?" Tears filled Elena's eyes as she nodded. "Yes, Ethan. Yes." Everyone cheered as Ethan slipped the ring onto her finger and pulled her into a deep, passionate kiss. Their wedding was beautiful, a small, intimate ceremony with close friends and family. Simone stood proudly by Elena's side as her maid of honor, while Nathan grinned ear to ear as Ethan's best man. As they exchanged vows, Elena knew that their story had come full circle. Their love had been tested by time and hardship, but in the end, by the grace of God, they found their way back to each other. And this time, they would never let go. A month after their honeymoon, Ethan's parents invited them to dinner. As they finished dessert, his mother gently clasped Elena's hands. "We'd love for you to join us at church this Sunday," she said softly. Elena glanced at Ethan, who gave a small, encouraging smile. "Actually, I've been thinking about the Lord a lot lately. He's been so good to us." Ethan nodded. "My parents have been praying for my salvation all my life. I'm open to going." That Sunday, they sat together in the warm, sunlit chapel. As the pastor spoke about grace and forgiveness, Elena squeezed Ethan's hand. Tears streamed down his face as the words washed over him. After the service, Ethan turned to her, his voice trembling. "I've spent so long running, but I'm ready to open my heart." She smiled, resting her head on his shoulder. "Me too." As they walked out into the sunlight, Ethan whispered, "But God commendeth his love toward us, in that, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us." Romans 5:8. Elena looked up at him, love shining in her eyes. Their journey wasn't perfect, but they had faith in God, in each other, and in the life they were building together. If you enjoyed this story, please give the video a like and drop in the comment about the part you like the best. For more content, click on the video playlist. See you next time. And remember, love is free.